Hi, Crucible Arms here. Thanks for joining us again. As most of you undoubtedly know, Glock has entered the pocket pistol or subcompact single stack 380 market with the G42. It's gotten a lot of attention, both good and bad, to be quite honest with you. There are a number of people that wish that had come out in a 9mm version initially. I'm sure that's on its way, but nonetheless, we do have, through the kind graces of a viewer of mine, his G42 that he's loaned me on a T&E basis, and I've had a chance to get to be familiar with this particular pistol, shoot it, review it, take it apart, and I'm going to share that with you today. We'll start with a quick safety check. Drop the magazine, check the chamber. We are completely clear. We're good to go. As you know, this particular marketplace, that being the 380 subcompact or pocket pistol market, is crowded. There are a number of players in it, including Carr, Sig Sauer with the P238. We've got Walther with the PPK. Any number of manufacturers are out there with this particular style of pistol. And so now Glock's offering is in the marketplace, and those of you who are big Glock fans are going to be very, very happy with this particular pistol. That's my guess. I like Glock. I understand their reliability. I've owned Glocks. They're not my favorite pistol, but I certainly understand why people like them. You can't go wrong owning a Glock, and you won't go wrong owning this pistol either, as long as you're looking for a 380 pocket pistol type design. When we take it down, you'll see it's Glock through and through. I mean, the typical polymer bottom, you've got the steel slide on it. Everything inside is going to look very familiar. There aren't any real surprises. They've basically just kind of taken the Glock and shrunk it down, turned it into a single stack design. So it's something that's made for a deep concealment. It's very good for that. However, personally, I've always preferred the 9mm round, and there are a number of offerings out there that come darn near close to the size and the weight specifications of this particular pistol. Having said that, I would like to do a brief comparison for you against my everyday carry, which is the Boberg XR9S. This is a 9mm. Again, safety check. We'll drop the magazine. Nothing in the chamber. We're good to go with this one. If you look at it from a form factor, size, weight comparison, it starts to be very, very favorable when you compare it against the Glock. Now, what I will say is, it's a touch taller. It's definitely shorter, almost an inch shorter. It's just a touch wider. And it does weigh more because the Boberg is an all-metal gun, whereas most of you know Glocks are polymer bottoms with the steel uppers. So weight is definitely a consideration when you talk about carry, but I don't find the XR9 to be overly heavy by any stretch of the imagination. Both pistols are definitely pocketable. Both can be deep concealed. However, you are going to get the extra round, and you're going to get the extra power out of a 9mm round than you're going to get out of a 380. But without a doubt, there are people who prefer the Glock design. They are familiar with Glocks, and they're going to love this pistol. Again, it shares a lot of the familiar features, function, operations of any other Glock. It's got a slide lock on one side only. It's not ambidextrous. Again, that's similar to any other Glock that you see. It takes down just like any other Glock. We'll do that in a second. It's also got a mag release in exactly the same place that you would find it on a traditional Glock. It also utilizes the same trigger system as all other Glocks do. So again, those of you who like that particular trigger setup are going to love this particular pistol. The trigger pull on this is specified at 5.5 pounds. In this particular package, or this particular pistol, I should say, it seems to be much, much heavier than that. I didn't test it independently, but just my finger tells me this is closer to an 8 or 9 pound pull. Very, very heavy. My wife, Mrs. Crucible Arms, she found the same thing. She found it to be a very heavy trigger pull. I do notice that in Glocks that their triggers tend to really vary, not only between models, but between pistols within a certain model group. You may not have experienced the same thing, but I sell a number of Glocks. I am an FFL. And when I dry fire them, I can tell you there's wide variability between triggers, like I say, between triggers in pistols that are of the same group, the same model, as well as between models. Most of them are great. They're fine triggers, but they do vary. And what I found with this one is it seems to be extremely heavy. Now, that may not be the same with yours. It is a pocket pistol. It is meant for concealment or pocket carry. It is a self-defense pistol, so having a heavy trigger pull is not a bad thing. It does have quite a bit of take-up, and then you've got a real nice set point. It does take, like I say, a significant effort to pull it, but once you do, it is a very clean break. So I'm not noticing any creep on this particular pistol. And so from that standpoint, it seems to be operating very well. It is a very consistent trigger. It also has a very nice reset. Again, the take-up is very consistent. It does hit the staging very well. And then a tough but very clean break. The reset then is very predictable. It's probably, I would say, maybe 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little less than that, maybe 1/8 of an inch. And then again, no creep, no grittiness, just a very clean break. The grip has a fair amount of stippling. It's not overly aggressive, but it's enough to get purchase on it with. It is, definitely a 2-finger gun as opposed to a 3-finger gun. I'm sure that they'll be offering extension magazines for this that will turn it into a 3-finger gun, but most pocket pistols or subcompacts are 2 fingers, and 2 fingers work just fine for me. One of the things that you will notice is it's got a fairly robust set of sights on it for a pocket pistol. That's great for being at the range. It's great for, target shooting with it. But what I can tell you is I don't get overly concerned about the type of sights that are on any given particular pocket or self-defense pistol. In a true self-defense situation, if you can pick up the front sight, you're incredibly lucky, if you can even do that. Most of the time, it's going to be point and shoot. So anybody who thinks that you need a really great set of sights on a purely self-defense pistol that you're carrying for protection, really you're spending your money on the wrong thing. It is a very shootable pistol. Again, it's a .380, so the muzzle flip is relatively mild. The recoil is very, very mild, almost non-existent from my standpoint. So let's go ahead and take the pistol down and show you that it is through and through, it is definitely a Glock. So if you own a Glock, you will have no issues with this particular takedown procedure. It's the same as any other. So we drop the magazine, obviously. We check for clear. It is clear. Pull the trigger. You will pull the slide back as you do on any other Glock. Drop the takedown levers. Slide comes right off. It does have a dual spring, recoil spring setup. Pull that out, and the barrel drops right out as well. Again, when you look at the components themselves, you're not going to see anything here that's surprising. It's all going to look very, very natural to you if you are a Glock owner. Putting it back together, again, drop the barrel back into position. Take the recoil spring, drop that in. Line up your slides front and back. Function check, you're good to go. Nothing. So if you're looking for a very concealable, very reliable Glock design in a .380 slimline pistol, this is the way to go. There's no doubt about it. Glock lovers are going to very much like this pistol. I appreciate your swinging by Crucible Arms once again, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.